Hey, I woke up early Wednesday morning and drove about 3 hours with my daughter up north. I set up a photography exhibition in a small town called Lapua in the sort of the middle part of Finland. There's a photo gallery, very nice photo gallery and photographic center with all kind of museums and whatnot. And I won a competition there a few years back. And then when I won it, then they said that they want my exhibition there whenever I'm ready. And it took me a while to figure out what I want to show there. You know, setting up an exhibition it's a hard work. Like just one or two good pictures are not enough, but you really need to have a consistent line of work or some kind of a story for an entire exhibition. That's at least what I would like to do and I want to do. So, and as I shoot everything, like I don't have really a strategy or anything, you know, it's sometimes difficult for me to find those kind of chunks of work. But I do have a few, and I thought about a couple of alternatives when thinking about the exhibition. Then finally, I decided to make this exhibition about my father. Now, my father grew up in that area, very close by. He was born close to the town of Lapua, where this exhibition is now being held. So there was a clear linkage to my father. My father turned 91 just a few weeks ago. About 5 years ago he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and I started to photograph him more and more maybe 3 years ago. Not only because of his illness, but because I noticed that he's an excellent model. He's very easy to photograph, he's very natural in those situations. He don't mind me getting close and trying to do the composition and all that. Now part of that may be that he has a history in graphical field, like he worked as a book printer and as a journalist. And then he also was a preacher man back in the day, so he knows how to present himself to an audience. So all these things sort of build into his character and all that. And of course he's my father, so it's easier to approach somebody that you know well and you know that there are no hidden agendas at either side. Now, Alzheimer's is a tough disease, and it's sort of like that the life is slipping away, and that's what's happening with my father. But I didn't want to make this a miserable story of deterioration. I didn't want to show my father, you know, in one corner of the exhibition going strong and in the other extreme weak in a bed or all that. I'm not really a fan of those kind of stories, and I certainly didn't feel I want to do that about my father. Instead, I wanted to illustrate my father as a human being, as somebody who deserves my attention and my pictures. And to me, he's still my father who used to help me to build snow castles and whatnot back in the days. So I wanted to make this about my father, where the illness is part of the story, but it is not the story. I had plenty of pictures during the last years, so the difficult part was not to include a particular picture into this exhibition. And you can't always go with like that picture is perfect, but you need to think about even more, does it fit into this body of work? Does it add something to the story? And some of the best pictures I left out because, that's my opinion, because they didn't really fit into the storyline that I wanted to build. Overall, I'm of course not sure how much this exhibition speaks to anybody else. I'm too close to the subject, and that is of course one of the challenges. So let me show you a few pictures. Let's start from the earliest one. The first picture is really the first one I took about my father when I really realized that now he's a great model. And then let me show you a few other ones. So I didn't want to name these pictures, and I don't want to explain them in more details. I mean, these are pictures and I hope they tell you a story as such. So here are a few pictures from the exhibition. we couldn't organize an opening ceremony for the exhibition because of the corona situation. So we streamed it online on Facebook, on my Facebook page in Finnish. And my daughter Evelina took care of that, and she was really a great help, not only in streaming but also setting up the exhibition, making sure that the pictures were spot on and measuring the distances and really helping me to set it up. Also the gallery staff and leaders, Antti Hintsa, Tapio Haapalahti, Tuula Yläsaari, thank you so much guys, tremendous help all along the way. Then in addition to the pictures on the wall, I did something inspired by a Japanese photographer, Yamamoto Masao. Now he used to have a box of printed photographs, kind of a tactile way of experiencing photographs and being able to touch and look at them and physically, you know, hold them in your hands, something you can really feel. And I did the same. I have a box in the corner of the exhibition where people can see. There are some additional pictures there that I did in my darkroom. Now, to me, there are really two ways of showing a photograph. One is the print on the wall, something that you can look at, or then the other one is on a paper, whether that's a book or whether that's a photograph that you can hold in your hands. The light reflects differently when it's not coming from the background as it comes on a screen of a computer or a phone. And there's also a certain element of light that is reflected, like there's always some kind of a reflection. Some people think that that reflection is a bad thing, but I think it's a part of the photograph and it's part of the of this art form. So that's why I really like printed pictures, and to be able to hold them in your hands, that's a great feeling in my liking. We also had a nice road trip with my daughter, and we had a little bit time after we had set up the exhibition and before I met a few people there, and we had this streaming on my Facebook page. We went to see a few thrift stores in that town. I don't know why we came up with that idea. I every now and then go and see if there are any old cameras. There typically are not, and she went to see some clothes and whatnot. We had a good time going through other people's garbage, and you know, I found something interesting. I found a book, Astropotnia, by a Finnish photographer. I don't know this guy. His name is Marko Portin. I probably should know him, but I don't. But what a great book. This is such an awesome photography book. He had taken these awesome pinhole pictures, a really inspiring book. You know, really beautifully made, really beautiful paper, really beautiful print. Like, I had been looking at my prints on the wall the whole day, these tangible prints, and then looking somebody else's print all on paper. You know, what a great day. Such a good find. You know, this cost me €1, so that was definitely worth visiting. So what a good day. First of all, I got my exhibition up and running. It's there to the end of the first week of October, so over a month. I put the link to the description page for those of you who can go there and check it out. It is open every day except Sundays. And by the way, for those of you who live further away, what a great reason to visit Finland to go to see my exhibition. Just kidding. Or not, I don't know. You know, also meeting the people who run the gallery, that was a lot of fun. The lack of opening ceremony was a bit of a bummer, but what can you do? Met some press there too, that was interesting. And you know, got some flyers showing an invitation to my exhibition. So. But above all, what was the best thing about the day? It was clearly spending the time with my daughter, setting up the exhibition, talking about life, talking about her granddad, all the fun, thrift stores. Hey, thanks Evelina.